Hi, welcome to my Introduction to Excel video. Excel is a powerful spreadsheet program made by Microsoft Office. You can create and format spreadsheets and workbooks, build models for analyzing data, write formulas, perform many complex calculations, and present professional charts. Excel has many uses in the business world, but today I'm going to show you how to simply input data that was collected during a brief survey and how to complete a graph to display that data. The first thing you'll want to do is to launch the Excel application. If you go to your Cortana search bar, you can just type in Excel, E-X-C-E-L, and then go ahead and launch the app. Once Excel opens, you'll want to click Blank Workbook. And then here you'll see several boxes. Each of these boxes is called a cell, and this is where you'll actually type in the data that you want to display. In box A1, I'm going to label this with height in inches. I did a survey to compare people's height to their shoe size. So then in box B1, I'm going to type shoe size. And then under each of these column headings, I'm going to input the data that I collected from my survey participants. The first person surveyed's height was 68 inches tall, that's 5'8", and their shoe size was a 9.5. Next person's height was 62 inches tall, and their shoe size was a 7. Next person was 66 inches tall, that's 5'6". Their shoe size was an 8. The next person was 72 inches tall. Their shoe size was a 12. Our next participant was 67 inches tall. Their shoe size was an 8.5. We had a 65.5 inch tall. Their shoe size was a 7.5. 68.5 inches tall. Shoe size was 10.5. Height 63 inches tall. Shoe size 7. Height 74 inches tall. Shoe size 13. And then our last person was 58 inches tall, and their shoe size was a 5. Okay, so there I had 10 participants. I asked that each their height and their shoe size, and now I'm going to create a scatter plot to display these two data points to see if there is any kind of comparison between the two. What you'll want to do to make your chart is click inside the A1 box so that it's selected, and then you'll click and drag through all of your data. So all of your data should be selected. When it's selected, you'll see that the box is kind of gray. And then you'll want to click Insert. And you can click on Recommended Charts, or if you already know what kind of graph you'll want to do, you can select the graph from the other options that you'll see on the screen. If you go to Recommended Charts, though, Excel is pretty good at deciding which one is best for displaying your data. So they suggest a scatter plot, which is what I would also suggest. Select OK. And then they have generated a graph for you, but we do want to edit this graph a little bit. If you double click on the title, we can change that title just a little bit. I want my title to be height versus shoe size. And then if you double click within the chart, you'll see this little plus sign that will allow us to add some elements to the chart. We want to make sure that we have axis titles, and then I'll also put a trend line on my graph. For the axis titles, the y-axis is our shoe sizes. So if you click inside of that text box, you can edit that text to say shoe size. And then our x-axis titles, select that text box. And then we'll label this one with height. And then we'll make sure we include our unit, which is inches. At this point, you could be done. You can click and print this graph. Or you can select your style. You can change your styles up a little bit. There's quite a few options. So if you want to change the visuals of your graph, you have a lot of options there. If you look down here at sheet 1, you can double click there, and we'll name this sheet, I'm just going to name it scatter plot. And then click this little plus sign there. And here you have another sheet within this same Excel workbook. For this one, let's go ahead and record data that was collected. And here we asked people what their favorite ice cream flavors were, and we gave them choices, and then we'll write in how many responded. So I'll make my A1 title here, ice cream flavors. And then my B1 box, I'll just say number of people. You may notice though now that my title is a little bit cut off. We can extend this column if you put your cursor between the A and B columns and you get this sort of double-sided arrow. You can click and drag to make the box or this column a little bit wider. That way all of your text displays. For ice cream flavors, say we kept our survey pretty simple. We said vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, it's misspelled strawberry, cookie dough, and just say mint chip. And 17 people responded that vanilla was their favorite, 23 said that chocolate was their favorite, only 9 for strawberry, 32 for cookie dough, and mint chip was the least favorite with only 7 people choosing that. To create this chart, we'll start the same way. Click inside your A1 box, and then click again and drag to select all of your data. And then we'll click Insert. We can see what the recommended charts are. For this, you could really, just depends on what you are wanting to get across to your audience. You could choose a bar graph. You could choose a circle graph. I'm going to go with bar graph for this one though. And then instead of number of people for our title, just click inside of that text box, select the text, and we'll say favorite ice cream flavors. Then double click the entire chart so that you get this plus sign to the right again. We want to add our axis titles. Our y-axis is going to be number of people. And then our x-axis we need to change to ice cream flavor. Select. And then we can also edit this graph to make it a little bit more visually interesting. If you select the paintbrush, you get just kind of general graphs. This one displays the total numbers along next to the bars. You can choose some different options there. You can also choose to change each bar individually if you want it to reflect the ice cream flavor, for example. To do that, we'd come over here to our paint can actually. And then if we select each bar individually, so what I did there was I double clicked inside of the whole graph, and then I clicked again on one bar to select vanilla. And maybe I want to fill this with a color that sort of reflects the color of vanilla ice cream. So if I go to more colors, I can choose one, just choose a sort of off-white color. And now we have a bar that kind of looks like vanilla ice cream for chocolate. Again, double click the whole graph and then single click the bar that you want to change. For chocolate, we'll kind of choose a brown color. Strawberry, choose something kind of pink. Cookie dough, we can choose a gradient or a pattern texture fill. I don't do any of those textures. Pattern fill, that's what we want. We can choose one that has some circles in it. And then we can change these colors so that our foreground is maybe that vanilla color, but then our background is more of a cookie dough color. So something like that. And the Mint Chip will also do pattern fill, but we want green for our background and chocolate for our foreground. So there's lots of different graphs that you could choose. This is really just an introduction on how to put in the data and then how to create the graphs and also edit the graphs so that they were a little bit more visually pleasing. And now you should be set to at least try to input some data from a class survey and then also create a graph. Hope this helped.